provide women and men's locker rooms and bedrooms. Because we have females now, we call them unisex bathrooms. Well, Luke gets mad at me because with the amount of people we're supposed to have, there's a certain amount of bathrooms, urinals, toilets, and separated facilities we're supposed to have. So really, we're trying to update. And I can't, I mean, we have a nice building downtown, we've made work, don't get me wrong. But I can't justify, in my mind, as your fire chief, dropping $5 million into that building to try to make it work as a main firehouse.
You still keep that building, and what happens with that?
Which one?
When you're in now.
Yeah, we'll keep that one, because we gotta have them on both sides of the railroad tracks. Because if we get a derailment in this town, that I said, blocks every intersection, we've gotta be able to operate out of both sides. And now with those trains being 2 miles long, we've gotta be able to operate out of both sides. And with the town being 8 miles from one end to the other, we've gotta have them in certain locations for our insurance stores, so you guys don't pay more in fire insurance on your house. So either way, somebody's gonna be mad at me. Because I brought it up, because we need it, they're gonna pay more in taxes, or if we don't do it, they'll probably pay more in fire insurance. They just can't win, for me, with some people, which I'm not here to make everybody happy, I'm here to do my job. As long as I can do it with my own.
So looking at the picture, you know, that you had on, they had on Facebook or whatever, it looked like it had like 8 big doors. Is that for your ladder trucks?
Well, every truck we have runs about 10 to 14 foot tall.
Sure.
So they gotta be taller doors. Like downtown right now, we've got a couple 10'6", 10'9" doors. The ambulances fit in those, but the fire trucks don't. So I really have a tough time. I want a lot of options to move vehicles around.
Right, because you have in front of the other, you have to move those.
Yeah.
So you're looking at
7 doors.
7 doors?
Yep, the 8th one is gonna be for our antique truck and our hose cart and our museum stuff. That would be the 8th one. It could in the future, Tori, be a garage stall,
Sure.
if would need be, but with the 7, we should have plenty of room to put the stuff in front of the garage door that we need now, without having to pull a truck out to get after it. And we'll have a back door entrance, so we're not backing up. One of the unsafest things we do is back trucks up.
I agree.
And anybody that drives a fire truck, dump truck, ambulance, whatever, will tell you, backing up is the most dangerous thing we really do.
So then in the middle section of that picture, you'll have like the office area, I'm assuming. You have
So, starting left to right, when you're looking at it, on the
Yeah.
west side is the museum, then the garage space, then the office area, bedrooms and things like that. And then a meeting room on the far end. It's a bigger meeting room that holds 80 people, not 20.
And then you have a kitchen area and all that.
All that's in the center with the offices and bedrooms and locker rooms. Yep.
Okay.
And you'll see that eventually once we haven't got permanent drawings made, we've got schematics, but no blueprints. This just shows the footprint, so you can kind of tell where the garages are.
Right.
You know, and then the rest is your office, meeting room, bedrooms, kitchen, laundry. And we got laundry rooms for doing regular clothes, plus we gotta have decon rooms for our gear and all that.
So you'll have how many trucks down at the one you're in right now then? You'll be like.
The one we're in now, well, what I'd like to do is get our trailers in there, which they're scattered throughout town. So we have a hazmat trailer, we have a foam trailer, we have a Ranger trailer that we haul our 6x on, our Ranger for the trails and things like that. We have a generator trailer that has a generator on it that runs a nursing home, a convention center, our water plant, if we need a generator, because power goes out. It actually ran Sioux Center's water system for about a week a couple years ago when they had an electrical fire, and nobody knew it. We mutuated up there, we hooked that generator up and kept water to Sioux Center, and nobody really knew that. So I want to get the trailers in there, but we'll have a fire truck and an ambulance at a minimum on both sides of the tracks we have.
Okay.
Yep. And probably a rural truck on each side as well that carries more water.
Today, it's going as 16 million, correct, bond?
Yep.
And you're hoping.
I'm hoping 12. I'm hoping around 12 or less.
That's what I've seen
Yep.
in the things. What are you cutting $4 million?
What am I cutting at $4 million?
Are you cutting anything to get that?
We have contingencies built in, but we also are looking at some donations and some private things that I can't throw out there right now. Those donors want to stay anonymous, but, you know, there's a lot of people, and you know this, that help us,
Yeah.
whether they're electricians or concrete people or any of those plumbers and things, they've always thrown us a bone because we're the fire department, we give them a nice thank you letter, they take to their tax guy, so that helps as well. But we want to make sure, we don't know what the prices are going to be when we go to bid this, and I've seen some of the issues the schools had with some bids being higher, and I'm like, I don't want to have that problem. But just because we're at 16 doesn't mean we're going to spend that. We had to come up with a ceiling number, so that was the ceiling. We were actually at 15, and then we took it to 16, just when we saw some of these other bids. And I'm hoping by then, with all these tariffs and trade things going on or whatever, things start to level out. But right now, we have to go with what we're seeing.
And as last time, I mean, I support, you can't put a person in a closet
Right.
and keep them.
Right?
Uh,
It's a morale killer.
The window, they don't open it, just in case you're wondering, they'll never open the shade, so they're always keeping them safe.
But they gotta be able to get out of it for a fire. I mean, we're telling everybody else they have a window in their bedroom. The realtors know that. And I got a bedroom without a window, so it's kind of like, you know.
So, you know, I guess my thing, my take on it is yes, we all want that beautiful firehouse. We do. I mean, we support everybody, everything everybody does, including you. But we've got value engineered some things, you know, beautiful Morton building can do a lot too, you know. People
Well,
are
we
living-
have to,
People are living and we've got
Ours
space
have
in the
to-
city.
ours have to survive storms.
Right.
So they've got to be concrete because those are our emergency operation centers if this town gets hit with tornadoes or floods or whatever. Those are the buildings we need to have standing to operate out of to keep the town functioning. We've actually gotten a disaster plan where City Hall would move into one of the fire stations right now if City Hall got wiped out, just to keep things working. So, you know, these smaller towns that put up $1 million Morton building, and then you watch them get smashed. I don't want that for this community. We're too big, too busy, and we have so many people to take care of. So it's gotta be a project impact, storm-rated building, and you won't get that with a Morton building.
Yep. I 100% agree with you, but the office area and the sleep room area would be a concrete building with garage bays
Well,
off.
that's kind of how it's gonna lay out.
You know. and-
That's how it's gonna lay out.
Okay.
The office area will be, garage is easy. It's
Right.
glass doors and concrete floor.
So,
The structure part, where you're talking living area, will be all concrete.
yeah.
Yeah,
So that's.
yeah, you're right, that's
all
what
I
we're
know.
doing.
And,
Yeah.
you know, $4 million, I was wondering where you were
Yeah.
coming up with that.
Well, we're hoping for the donation stuff, we're hoping for some self-labor with our guys. We got some very talented people that have already built bedrooms and helped with kitchens and, you know, I got guys that can sheet rock, I got guys that can do all kinds of things. So we'll do some of that too, we always have. We always have. I mean, they even landscape station too, you know, so I mean, we'll do some of that too.
You
Any
know,
other questions for Dave?
truly, I
think that
mean, this,
recruiting will come up, Dave?
God, I would hope so.
Okay.
And like Greg said, just to maintain staff, to give them an area where they can live. Because they're away from their families for 24 hours. Their families can come visit, things like that. But you make the guy sleep in the closet, or share a shower that's yay big, or not have a locker to put his stuff in, that makes it tough. It's like they're living out of a bag, and it's not a good thing for future hiring, it's not a good thing for our volunteers either, coming in and having a shower. I want them to shower before they go home. I don't want them taking cancer stuff home to their kids, because I've seen what it's done to me. And I want that, we can't have that.
Right.
And the way things are built nowadays, everything causes problems if you agree with it. So,
Have you
anybody
thought
else?
about switching
Yes,
Why are you thinking the length of the bond's gonna be, how many years?
I can't remember what they said, but what was Joe saying on that, remember?
No.
The length of the bond,
The bond,
20 years? 20 years. Yep.
there's a question here.
Have you thought about switching like fire stations around and keeping the newer one, and then build a newer one instead of keeping the whole?
Well, I gotta go on both sides of the tracks.
Yeah, but.
And that second one has no really offices or bedrooms or
But
anything.
can't you find some land?
And it doesn't have as many truck bays, and it doesn't have the parking and things like that that we're gonna have with this. And we got that huge parking lot downtown, all the parking around town. It makes it a lot easier. But we did look at that. We did look at that. But location-wise, for insurance, we gotta keep them where we got them set up. You know, they have always had 2 fire stations. For 50, 60 years, they've had 2 fire stations. They had one in the street department building when it was where Campbell's Lawn Services, and then they had the one by the Olson Center, where the Olson Center parking lot is. Then, they built the one over that the Premier Building's in, right across the street from Campbell's, and then realized for insurance, and actually when the ambulance was in there, a lot of the ambulance people lived up on that end of town, and the town was growing south, and our insurance people said, you need something out there. So instead of building a third 3 facilities, they sold that one and moved south where we're at now. So I don't know what the plan is for the current Station 2, if they're gonna sell it with the proceeds towards this building, which might offset through some of that $4 million. I don't know, that would be up to your council and administration. I don't get to make those decisions, that's above my pay grade. I just tell you what we need. If we get it, we get it. If we don't, I'm gonna have a lot of unhappy campers, but we're gonna show up for a call tomorrow. You know, that's what we do. We've adapted and overcame for 15 years where we're at. We still show up for calls and make it work. All right, thank you very much.
My question to you, if the public feels at the vote on November 4th that, now's not the time, we just did this school, and, taxes are too high, like we were talking, and maybe it doesn't fit in my budget, will you come again with this proposal, likely, you think?
Well,
or you don't want to think about that?
no, I don't know if I'll be here to do that. But what they'll either have to do is do it again, or come to the council with, we need millions of dollars to stick into these other buildings that really isn't conducive and won't make it right for the tax dollar. So we've got to do something. We, like I said, we need to buy another piece of equipment. We have nowhere to put it. I mean, we're to that point. We're to that point. When you go to 2,000 calls a year, and there's times, I mean, several times now, we have 3 ambulances out at once. If we need a 4th one, or we got to have a different fire truck, or like I said, the Amtrak's vehicle, or whatever comes up, I don't know where we'll put it to be able to get to it and use it. So, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, somebody talk about something else. That's what we're here for. I can't be the only issue, John.
Before we turn it over to general public input, I was just going to run down some projects that are currently in the works, and we're trying to dispel some things that I've seen on social media, which isn't a great thing to do, but I thought it would maybe spur the topic of discussions tonight. So, first off, the headline in the Daily Sentinel was the O'Toole Park bidding process and how that bid was awarded to a firm from Spencer. It is state law that we cannot accept the lowest bid. So we really had no choice in that whatsoever. As much as we would have loved to see Wilson Construction build our park and our park buildings, we couldn't violate state law and not accept the lowest bid. So we had no choice in that matter. If you have issues with that, which I do, talk to your state representatives, governor, whomever gets things done at the state level. Water treatment plant. There's a water treatment plant in the works right now. The DNR, so again, this is state level, the DNR changed the standards of acceptable chloride discharge back in 2009. So Mayor Dick Kirchhoff probably was your mayor at that point in time. Those limits were applied to 108 industrial wastewater treatment plants, as well as 65 cities. Most of those reside in northwest Iowa because that's where the hardest water in the entire state comes from, is in northwest Iowa. So there's 65 cities along with us doing this, and thank you, Clark. Clark pointed out that it was also the EPA, not just the DNR, but those two in conjunction with each other came out with these standards. So really the city of Le Mars has been on the clock since 2009 to address this water issue. And it's labeled as a wastewater issue, but the chloride that ends up in our wastewater is coming from our water because we put so much salt in it to soften the water that it ends up and passes through to our wastewater and then onto our river. So again, very little that we can do about the DNR and EPA standards. We have to meet these, and the way to go about it was an RO water treatment facility that's going to soften the water without adding salt. So yes, your water bills are going up to pay for this water treatment plant. Your taxes are not going up to pay for this water treatment plant. It's being paid for by the users of the water. And also, you should see some reduction in your salt bill eventually when this is complete and online. So I'm not saying it's going to be a dollar for dollar swap. And I would also note that the city of Le Mars has, I think it's the third lowest water rates in the state of Iowa for cities at above 10,000. So next, wastewater treatment plant. You maybe read some things in the paper that the city is contemplating a $155 million wastewater treatment facility. Again, this is a project that started when I talked to Mayor Kirchhoff about running for mayor. He told me we got this $150 million project in the works. It's been in the works for a number of years. It's still in the works. But it's due to the fact that the capacity of our existing wastewater treatment plant isn't sufficient to meet our needs. Our current wastewater usage, our plant is running over capacity nearly every single month. We get a report from Doug Mazoon, who is our wastewater superintendent, and he gives us the level of capacity that we ran, and I haven't seen a month, I think maybe since last December, that we were below 100% capacity. It's amazing the job they're doing to keep us out of trouble with our existing wastewater plant, but we need more capacity, and also the useful life of our existing wastewater facility is reaching its end. So it's not something fun to do, not something anyone wants to pay for, but it's going to be paid for by the users of the wastewater. It's not property tax. It's being paid for by those who use the wastewater. Next, homeless issue. I've been alerted this past week of some concerns of citizens that there's more of an abundance of homeless downtown that they've seen. So I do have a meeting scheduled tomorrow with the police chief, the city administrator, as well as our city attorney and begin to strategize how best to handle that. Evidently, there's some folks hanging out at the city bathrooms downtown, as well as the Olson Cultural Events Center. So if you came here to talk about that, I'm on it. We're on it. We're going to do our best to come up with a plan that works. So community betterment projects. Some of you have seen some of the community betterment project layouts. One of which is this building, and is to basically double the size of this banquet hall. I believe the plan was to head that direction with this building, and increase the capacity and the usefulness of this facility, as well as many enhancements going that way. The fundraising for that is going famously. We are currently about 90 to 95% fully pledged yet, so things are looking good as far as reaching our goal there. That was, if you recall, that's an $11 million investment in our city's parks and recreation facilities. Half of that is being funded by the city through local option sales tax. So we borrow the money against the future income of our local option sales tax dollars and are applying it towards the community betterment project. Again, not affecting our property taxes. Future fire station, all I can tell you is to get out there and vote. None of us up here can tell you how to vote, but we encourage you to get out and vote, and that's the democratic process. Highway 75 project, that's something I've seen, and maybe you've seen in the works. We just hired a engineering firm to begin to look at that project. That's going to be a long and painful, impactful, expensive project. But as you've seen, our business 75 that runs through town was white capped approximately 10 years ago, Jason, somewhere there. 8 years ago. So they put a layer of cement over the existing cement and had a barrier in between. That process is not proving to be effective, and it's breaking down. So as you drive Business 75, you've seen we've currently got construction, some repair projects going on there, and we've been patching it and patching it and patching it, and rather than the never-ending patching, we're exploring basically tearing it out and starting work. So it is a massive project. It's going to impact traffic flow and stuff through town if we decide to go ahead with